Hey, Tiffany here, and this is another episode of my 31 days of Halloween. It is it's crazy just how close we are to Halloween right now. I mean, it's exciting. I've been having a really, really good October, doing a lot of really cool stuff, and, had a few gigs and a film premiere, and it's just been a really, really good month. Up until it's like the month is almost over. So yeah, I could still say so far though, but I think the month is going to continue to go really well. Now, I'm recording a couple different things today. I'm recording this video for my 31 days of Halloween. I'm also going to be recording two podcast episodes, one interview and one that's going to go on the be among the soft launch episodes on the After Hours podcast. However, I'll also include the After Hours podcast episode with just me as part of my 31 days of Halloween. And then my interview is going to be one of the episodes after the podcast officially launches in basically on Halloween, when you will be able to join myself and my friend Hannah of Hannoween Town for a Halloween hangout. So you will probably see this ensemble in a couple videos. I got my Crawford School of Terror hoodie and my little pumpkin head hat here that I got if you watched my Sleepy Hollow festival merch haul. You'll see I got this from the historic Harmony Weaver's cabin. Super cute. I love it. So you'll see this ensemble probably in like at least 3 episodes. So I don't think that matters, but I don't know. Sometimes people are like, hey, you're wearing the same outfit, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that's because, sometimes we record these in batches and we do try to mix them up. Hey, whatever. It looks cute. I think it looks cute. But today I am going to be telling you kind of like a story time. And I've done a couple story times on this channel, but this is going to be more of kind of like, I guess you can say, a sci-fi genre type of story time, because my other one was about how some friends and I kept running into this like creepy guy at a haunted attraction, and we at first thought he worked there, and it turned out he didn't, and he wasn't there with anyone, and he kind of like disappeared almost into the night, into thin air. So I'll leave that link in the description to that video if you want to check it out. But and then the other one was about how I was in a coffee shop, and there was this guy who he looked like he was straight out of the 1930s. And I'm not talking about somebody who like does reenacting or living history or anything like that, or, cosplay. Like, this wasn't anything like that, even his mannerisms and everything. And he just kind of looked confused by everything. So I don't know if that was like kind of like the title of the video. It's called A Glitch in the Matrix, Time Traveler in a Coffee Shop, ? So I'll also leave that in the description too, if you want to check it out. But today I am going to tell you about the time a friend of mine and I thought we saw what looked like a UFO, basically. And I know they're calling it something different now, but I can't remember what it is. So we're just going to say UFO for the sake of context and everything. So now this, I was a kid at this time. My friend we were only 13, and we were actually at a church function, a church party at the time. And we decided to go for a walk because we were getting kind of bored. So we decided to just kind of go for a walk outside, and it was nighttime. It was after dark. So we're just kind of walking around outside, still staying close to the building, because safety and everything. And, the parking lot was it was adequately lit. I wouldn't say it was super well lit, but it was adequately lit. And so we're just walking around, And we see this, and it's like right, and it's like, I wouldn't say it was right behind the church building, but we see this huge stretch of lights. It's almost like this long, it was like it kind of blended in with the dark. It was like this huge stretch of lights that was like, looked like it was definitely attached to something, like, definitely, like, whether it was a building almost, like, and at first we thought maybe it was a building, but then, and it was like, and it was in the trees. It was like, and it was actually above the tree. Like, it was kind of like the way it was sitting, like, it was, you can see these lights like above the trees. And and at first it kind of looked like, okay, it was one of those long buildings maybe, but then we remembered there are no buildings here. There are no buildings in those trees. So we're just kind of looking at it like, okay, what is that? But then, we decide to just kind of, walk away, and, we just continue walking and talking and then we decide, to, we'll be like, okay, like, we'll come back later and check and see if it's still there, see what it is. So we're walking, we're just kind of walking, talking, and then we just kind of like look at each other. We're like, wonder if that thing is still there, And so we go back, and it's still there. And and the more we look at it, the more it looks like it's just like black. Okay, so apparently my microphone actually it ran out of batteries, or the battery died. So I'm recharging it right now, but I didn't feel like reshooting the whole thing again. So I'm just going to pick up where we left off with this voiceover. So basically, as I was saying, we go back to where we saw that the really, really huge, almost, it looked almost like this building, but yet it didn't. And it was just like, almost like this, looked like this black, round cylinder shape with lights around the outside. And so we're there looking at it and trying to figure out what it is. And, I think I said in the original video where, before my microphone ran out, that, we were 13. So we definitely weren't on anything or any type of substance or anything like that. So yeah, we were 13, and we're just there looking at this thing, wondering what it is. And we're contemplating going up to it, but something is just I don't know, like, for some reason we didn't. On the one hand, yes, we were very curious, but on the other hand, I don't know, there was just this feeling that we got that we probably shouldn't approach whatever this is. Meanwhile, this black cylinder with windows is hovering above the trees, and neither of us ever recalled seeing any type of building there during the day. And it was a lot of forest around us too. So we decide to just walk away from it again, and we're walking and, just having a conversation. And then we decide to go back again and see if it's still there. Well, when we return to see if whatever that thing is still there, the place is dark. It is no longer there. We no longer see the lights, nor do we see like any type of shape, the shape of what, that kind of very long cylinder shape was. And so we're there wondering why, what exactly happened, because it's like that thing just disappeared. And then, though, when we look up in the sky, it really is like we saw this disc that it was a good distance away, but it definitely wasn't an airplane, because it looked like a round kind of disc type of aircraft with lights on the edges of it, and it was basically floating away above us out into the distance. And yeah, it definitely wasn't an airplane, like your standard airplane. And we're just, my friend and I, we're just there standing there like, okay, what just happened? And we're kind of freaked out. And then the following morning, I told my dad about what we saw, because my dad is also very into things like that, into things like UFOs and life on other planets, interdimensional beings. So I told my dad what happened, and my dad actually goes to check it out. And he also confirmed that there are absolutely no buildings back there. And so there definitely was something that my friend and I saw that typically wasn't there at the time. Now, the only thing that my dad did say that, you know, may dissuade it from actually being like a spacecraft of some kind, an alien, extraterrestrial spacecraft, is that he said that they usually leave those crop circles, and there were no crop circles back there. However, I don't know, maybe it's possible it was hovering above the ground, but I don't know, that was like the only thing that, you know, my dad suggested, that maybe it wasn't like an extraterrestrial spacecraft, but still, like, what was it? You know, and that's the thing. If it wasn't that, then what was it? And I know that there are some theories about some of these ships being military spacecraft, and, you know, maybe something with NASA or whatever. And I don't know, they just decided to spy on the church party. I don't know. I don't know. But like, yeah, but it's just kind of, but it still begs the question, what exactly did my friend and I see? So yeah, so that's my story about how I very possibly saw a UFO pretty up close. And I was just, I would like to know if you ever saw anything that was kind of strange and unusual like that, something that just seemed a little out of place that you couldn't explain. I'd love to hear about it. But that was this episode of my 31 Days of Halloween. And I hope you are having a great night, morning, evening, wherever you are. And I will see you in the next video. And until then, happy Halloween. And as always, stay spooky.